My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive.
Hello and welcome to Gold Media, the show that does more highly opinionated content even though the host likes Spy Kids 3D. Today we'll be discussing why I believe we should slow the Flash down. And I will add some other things I would like to see from a new Flash. Like, why are we even calling him the Flash if he takes off his clothes and we can't even see it because of his speed? Like, seriously, DC?
You know where it hurts?
Jokes aside. Please, James Gunn, please! You didn't make Superman a god. You can be the one to make Flash have to gain momentum. So back to the very opinionated main point of this video, I want to ask you a question. How does someone like Captain Cold beat the Flash? And just basic Captain Cold? No, I'm serious, how would he? The Flash can dodge bullets, catch bullets, move people away from bullets. He has an ice beam and it doesn't move at the speed of light. Multiple people can just see it coming. You might be saying, why doesn't he just make an ice wall? The Flash, in many incarnations, can just vibrate himself through the wall. And next you could say that Captain Cold could just freeze the floor for the Flash to slip. But ice is only slippery because of the thin liquid-like substance called pre-melting that's in between both a solid and a liquid on the ice, even at below freezing. The Flash has proven on many occasions that he can just run across the water, so you can't just tell me that he can't run on the ice. The point being, the Flash may need to just slow down to allow the character to grow as a hero. A good example I could think of is the movie The Flashpoint Paradox. In the scene where the Flash is fighting the Form of the Rogues, the first thing that happens is that he gets hit by the top by a thrown projectile. He then adapts to his moves by using them himself. And in the scene it actively shows the Flash gaining momentum. And since the Flash Museum exists, it means he's an established Flash. Not to mention, Captain Cold and Captain Boomerang actively surprise him. He's adapting to the situation rather than just defeating them with speed. In comics, movies show Barry Allen is a forensic scientist, and it's freaking annoying to me that the writers won't lean into the Flash having brains and being silly. And not just using it for a side plot, but no. We get lines like he's checked the entire city 5 times or something. Heroes that have jobs or had jobs that are relevant to their characters are cool. Like Superman and Spider-Man, making sure that they have income by taking photos or doing interviews with themselves. James Gunn has already done that in the Superman movie. The Flash could look over the whole area fast and walk in like a cool guy and quickly do his work, making him a badass. Here's the issue with his speed though. The biggest issue with I got a speed, not this guy, but having powers of a god is how you write around the powers. It's easier to write around momentum because it gives him a limit. In the Flashpoint Paradox, he has to gain momentum. But in the CW's Flash, his powers are tied to the plot of the episode. While the second one may not be good in concept, it's engaging, if not a little funny looking back. Even though I talk about the idea of limits, there are good adaptations of the Flash, and while overpowered, they are absolutely amazing adaptations. The point being, when I'm making an argument, I don't want to look at one side. Like this scene, the candy bar, probably the best part of the movie. It kind of just shows how the movie will be throughout, even though it's a mid-joke. Another reason I want to bring up the Flash movie is because of how they convey speed. It sucks so much. Let me tell you, why this scene is the one scene that people bring up. The starting run scene. Not only is it hard to watch, it just doesn't make sense. Your feet need to push on the ground to gain speed. But if you don't have your feet on the ground, the air is in the way, slowing you down. You don't have the force to push through the air. There is another effect that you could be saying that's happening. You could be saying that he's going so fast that he looks like he's doing giant strides. And yes, that would make sense in the idea that your eye's a camera. And that would be really cool. And it would even look like a comic panel if they didn't decide to set it up like it was from his perspective. Something they could have added to make it more understandable to the audience is some smear framing, like how cartoons do it, and even how comics do it to an extent, for good reason too. Let's talk about animation. Smear framing is a tool to show movement to your audience when something is too fast for the camera or you need to show exaggeration. In the CW show, they use motion blur to create the effect of great speed. Also, stemming from the comics, they could have had multiple copies of their characters and their body parts. I like this one because in addition to smear framing, you get silly results, and in total honesty, the best portrayal of the Flash is the freaking LEGO DC supervillain's Flash. He has to gain momentum, he has copies of himself following him, not to mention he's a believable character than most adaptations. The other Flash I would like to talk about is the Flash from the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited show. While overpowered, you could believe in the ways that he's been beaten throughout the show. While I know he's not they kind of mix the two characters in the show, he's also kind of the comic relief of the show. I freaking love the Flashmobile so much. It is so unnecessary, but it fits the character so well. But even though he's funny, he can also be serious and has some of the best scenes in the show. But not only is he written well, the way he interacts with his world is written well. In the episode, The Flash and the Substance, he shows how he interacts with the people of Central City. He freaking does favors and knows people by name. He's not only liked for what he does as a hero, but for what he does for his community. He even talks with his villains that he knows aren't well. He's just an upstanding guy. I want a Flash that's a likable character, even a likable person, a likable human. Not someone who is a god, not someone whose life is focused on one tragedy, not someone who is a mess of a person. My perfect Flash is a champion of community. A Flash that not only uses his brain to solve problems, but also learns how to adapt. He's someone you hope tries to solve a problem with his words rather than his speed. He is kind, he is silly. He's confident but overestimates himself. My perfect Flash can be overpowered. But at the end of the day, my Flash would go through other dimensions to get a piece of candy for a kid. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.